Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2018 Academy League. I'm Irving Nabizin III, and I'm excited to be casting and analyzing today's games with the Mark Z, Mr. Mark Zimmerman.
I will do most of the analyzing. You do most of the casting.
I'll leave that to
break
you.
up the workload.
That's what the paychecks say anyways.
Yeah.
So we've got some stories, some big stories coming in and coming your way. But first, let's cover the basics. With the new summer split comes a new familiar format, I should say. Last split, only 4 Academy teams advanced to the postseason, but this time around, we'll have 6 teams, just like the LCS, headed to the playoffs.
Yeah, and in order to make room for these new games in the quarterfinals, the teams will be playing a double header over the course of this split twice. The first one will be on week 3 on Thursday, and the second will also be on Thursday in week 7.
That's right, and keep an eye out for those games on the all-new Thursday broadcast. That is right, gone are the days of the off-air VODs, replaced with some fresh new live streams brought to you by your favorite LCS teams, which were pretty great to watch last night.
Yeah, they were all different styles too. Some more comedic, some more serious. Anyways, Be sure to tune in every Thursday at 4 p.m. for the start of Game 1, with each of the LCS organizations broadcasting the game on their home stream. You can check out the URLs on your screen or visit lolesports.com for more information.
Super exciting to be back. We will talk about some of those games in a bit, but first we need to talk about the biggest changes to Academy. The rosters. Every team, with the exception of Clutch Gaming, has made changes to their starting lineup, some small, others grand. You know what's coming next, though. The news has been reverberated around the esports community. The former Cloud9 Academy players Golden Glue, Keith, and Zazel have been called up to the LCS stage, which means Jensen, Sneaky, and Smoothie are playing in the Academy League this week.
Yeah, that's definitely not the guys that you would think would be behind me right now, but there they are. And if you saw the video that got put out by Jack and Reaper, they talked about some of the decision-making for why they're doing this. They said that the performance of the Academy players has actually been doing pretty well, almost better than the actual starters, as well as the fact that there might have been some concerns around the attitude with how crazy the new meta is. Some people felt like they were not taking it as seriously, and this was an opportunity to give the starters behind in the main LCS team a bit of a reprieve and let the other guys who have been working very hard a chance to shine in the LCS.
To see if they can shine. So Cloud9 making some shocking moves there, and Golden Guardians Academy are following behind with some big pickups of their own as we move on.
Yeah, and this was a really interesting one because Golden Guardians Academy finished last place, and it was something where they had so many new players. In the offseason, their GM was talking about how it actually was very difficult to teach 5 completely new players essentially how to play the game.
You need a few in there that have,
there's no
that have
anchors.
done that.
Yeah, exactly. And so with that, they've added a lot of veterans to their roster. They got Benji and Sheep as well as Zig to help with that. And it also, one of the other things they said, should help their main roster, because now when you're trying out new stuff, especially in the new meta, you have a stronger team to try it against, so you're not getting these inflated results where everything looks like it's working.
And that's a great thing to bring up, is the new meta. Another big change has been seen here in patch 8.11, 8.11. The meta changes are huge. We've seen plenty of iterations in different leagues throughout the week and got our first glimpse of the NA meta last night.
Yeah, and the most prominent thing that you'll see in the meta is just weird bot laners. And if you're not sure what's happened, marksmen are still down there. The ones that you saw before are new, but or the ones that you saw in MSI are still there, but a lot of the newer marksmen have been replaced by other types of mages, essentially. So you see a lot of Vladimirs, you see Rises, Mordekaiser as well cropping up a lot. You saw Brand for Sneaky. So once you get past,
I love it.
Once you get past the Kai'Sa, Lucian, Ezreal, you start seeing really crazy stuff.
It means a lot of fighting, and you love it as a play-by-play caster, or as just a caster in general. Seeing this new dynamic come out, but whose pop-up was that? Whose stun was that? Whose knock-up is that? There's so many more crowd control, just overall abilities to be messing with on the field.
Yeah, it definitely feels like everyone's kind of relearning the game again, which is exciting, I think. For
and
most
you saw the gold funneling with Yi as he goes around and just does his own thing, and a few of other those compositions that come out with new Karthus and the fun stuff.
Yeah, so this is the other kind of big new topic to talk about with the meta aside for the bot lane, is this kind of gold funneling strategy where your jungler takes this hyper-scaling champion, farms the jungle, then moves up into the mid lane, grabs this farm as well, and then you get this kind of super carry, and they get super far ahead. They're head in levels, head in gold, and then with Yi, Taric, you get these kind of crazy stun setups and the ultimate to protect you in team fights. The thing is, we were excited to see Levi do this. He made the most sense of anyone in the Academy, and then it didn't quite work out. They actually got countered out. The Fiddlesticks is a huge counter to that Master Yi because he fears them and he runs away. And you saw that they actually ended up losing this game. But the strategy works with a couple other champions. Nunu Karthus has seen a lot of play internationally, as well as things like Mordekaiser Shyvana or Mordekaiser Graves. You can run it with a lot of different champions, and the underpinning strategy of it is you get mid farm and jungle farm to get catapulted ahead.
I think I'm ready for us, but I don't think we've seen everything. We saw it happen in the European LCS today. If you haven't, check it out. Jana for Reckless, things like that. There's still much more to come. Before we do get into today's matches, let's see how the games last night panned out. The Academy squads of Counterlogic Gaming, Cloud9, Golden Guardians, Optic, and Team Liquid all started off the split with a victory. But everyone has a chance to claim a win this afternoon, so let's check out the new schedule. First up, FOXA Academy takes on FlyQuest. That's followed by Cloud9 Academy versus Counterlogic Gaming. Then Golden Guardians Academy takes a shot at 100 Thieves before we finally close out the day with TSM Academy versus Team Liquid Academy, which is probably going to be a good anchor to the day as well. So let's jump into game one. And what a better matchup to start us off than a rematch of the Academy Spring Finals between FOXA Academy and FlyQuest. Coming into the summer, Echo Fox is showing the result of a strong spring split, I should say.
Yeah, there's some roster shuffle coming out of Echo Fox, but it's more off the back of bigger and better things for those players. So, for instance, Alarim is moving over to Optic, and Demonte has been called up to the starting roster. As a result, Yasui, formerly of Cloud9 Tempest, will be in the Challenger Series and returns to pro play. Will be Nintendo also swapping from the jungle up to the top side.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's some changes coming in. Lost will also be joined by Fang in the bot lane at the support position a little later. You might remember him from his time as a top laner on Team Impulse, but until then, Lost will be dueled with the starting LCS support in Adrian.
It's going to be crazy. All of these mix up, but changes. These teams are ready to go. On the other side of this matchup, we do have defending champs who have held on to their collegiate rookies and replaced the core mid-jungle duo of Shrimp and Keen.
Yeah, Onda moved over to the academy position full-time in the jungle, and Peckenwolf will be taking Keen's spot in the mid lane. It's kind of hard, you know, and I'm hesitant to call these upgrades, especially with the success that Keen and Shrimp had last split.
It is true.
Yeah, but Peckenwolf did sub in for FlyQuest a couple games last time when there were some of those visa issues, and he performed pretty well with the squad back then.
We even saw Keen's time on the LCS stage do quite well, and he came back. So
yeah,
we'll have to see if he can keep performing that way. Let's get in the starting lineups. Without further ado, we'll see if those players can get the impact plays made. On the blue side for game one, it is Echo Fox Academy. That means it's Nintendo X, yes, in the top lane. Odd Orange roaming around in the jungle. Yasui in mid. Bot is not Lost, but Lost is playing there, and Adrian as his support.
And over on the red side, it's FlyQuest Academy. I don't have nearly as many cool things as Rip does for introducing players. We just got No in the top lane, Onda in the jungle, Peckenwolf in the mid lane, Airy in the bot lane, supported by JJ.
That's all right. This is what that academy. This is the academy summer split will be for you.
Yeah.
Sweet intros for these players.
I'm just not as cool as you. That's the fundamental problem. It's like you're cool, have cool intros. I don't have that going.
We'll start somewhere. We'll work up from there.
Yeah, I guess I gotta get a motorcycle first.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
good. He's coming to the studio. So looking at actually what these guys are going to be bringing to the table, we just said we looked at a few teams subbing out Keen and Shrimp in that mid lane, which was a huge kind of impact play for those guys. That's where we saw Shrimp going all the time. That's where we saw the roam power coming from. So what do you think that change kind of overall was looking at to do?
I think it's going to put a lot more pressure on the University of Toronto core of this team that a lot of times, I wouldn't say felt like role players, but they definitely were more functioning as a support for that mid-jungle synergy of Keen and Shrimp. Now with those two guys gone, it's going to fall on them to take a larger portion of the carry role, but I think they're up to the task. I had the opportunity to talk with a lot of them and their coach, Invert, about, you know, just how things were going, and they were loving the new meta. So you can expect some cool stuff out of them here in game one.
Awesome. I love it. I don't like seeing the Pikes already banned.
Yeah.
This is mean. Talia, Camille gets taken out. A lot of things we've seen recently. And there goes the Lucian. Ben mid, Ben bot. Can go anywhere.
Yeah, Lucian, Ezreal, and Kai'Sa, like we were saying, the 3 prominent AD carries. Once those get banned out, you're either taking Draven or something else in the kind of B tier category, or you start looking at the Vladimir, the Yasuos, and the Ryzes.
This also flexes so much of what people have known for so many.
Oh,
I mean, if you're a mid laner, right, you'd be like, well, we've seen people like FLYKR go bottom. Now you're playing in a long lane. Little things change. Warding changes. Your necessity for different things. It's crazy.
Right. I mean, players have built up skill sets with this, you know, period of time. And with that, with, you know, roles becoming broken, more open, it makes you wonder if you should play more to your skill set or more to your role. And we've seen that line kind of getting blurred a little bit with the fact that FLYKR played Darius in the bot lane because he wanted to counterpick a Yasuo.
Reckless Jana.
Just follow him around. Yeah, Reckless on Jana. People are starting to potentially move roles and things like that.
Absolutely.
Beyond just the actual position on the map.
All right, so the Shen is out. A bit of shielding and global map pressure there as he's been seeing more. But I can say everybody's seeing more play. I've seen Urgot today. Ornn does get locked in, however.
He saw plenty of play before.
Yeah, seriously.
Still seeing it.
And we saw Lost playing a few of those tanks towards the bot lane. Moored for him yesterday, so it could be anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shen, at this point, is more of a support champion with how everything's going. He does still see some flexing in the top side, and that's, I think, what's really cool about the meta. You know, you can talk about how the snowballs may be a little out of control, and some of those gold funneling strats, especially the Cherokee one, maybe needs to get toned down. But I do like the idea that like any of these picks can go anywhere right now because the meta is so open. Ornn can go bottom, Aurelia can go top, mid, or bottom. Braum can go mid. Like, who knows? You can't even begin to fathom what the composition will be based off the first couple picks.
Aurelia Braum does get locked in. Still can't say anything. That could be Braum AD, Aurelia support. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, about the gold funneling, this, I don't see what the problem is because this is what my junglers do all the time.
Yeah, they come into
I'm used to.
I'm ganking. Oops, the gank didn't work out. Time to help push in the lane. Yeah, exactly. It's just officially a strategy now, Riv. Now you can't get mad at them.
Put a name to it, doesn't make it any cooler.
Yeah, before it was called taxing. Now it's just funneling.
Now they're getting a full paycheck. Odd Orange locking in the Yasuo. A lot more play from him lately as well. Very big impact plays in the early game, and kind of all throughout you can dance around and be your own player. It almost is there's some compositions that say we're focusing on this one person, and there's some compositions that can kind of have these guys carried by themselves, and then you meet up with them later.
It's definitely interesting because you see like these 4 protect 1 comps against a comp that has 4 carries. You know, like Graves, Zen in the jungle, plus all the solo laners as carries, and then there's some support trying to keep everyone alive. And I think it's so cool that there's not one dominant strategy right now. And maybe part of that is just due to the Wild West nature, and some of it might actually be due just to how the game functions now.
I love how much we've actually analyzed where these picks are going, since there is no knowledge of where they are going. Like, that could be anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It's beautiful.
I think Singed.
This is League of Legends.
If I can go out,
you're gonna go out on a limb here. It's fine.
Assume anything. I think you can assume the Singed is going top. The Aurelia and Yasuo is a bit of an interesting one because it's not like Yasuo counters Aurelia, but you are able to stop that stun from coming in, which is so much of her setup. So you kind of get into this cat and mouse game where one team's trying to flex away and the other team's trying to chase them. That's what led to that FLYKR situation with Darius. Is like, well, I counterpick the Yasuo. Yasuo goes bottom. Bane can't play Darius, so FLYKR has to go down bot lane. And you kind of get into these things where on red side, you have that advantage a little bit of being able to get that final flex and final counter pick in.
I'm also, now as we look at the compositions, you see this Trundle for Odd Orange. He can eat up Singed. He can eat up Braum. This is great for him late game. So those picks from FlyQuest Academy are going to have to do some quick work before they become big, just for Odd Orange.
Yeah, Echo Fox with their jungler already selected in the Trundle, ban out a couple of the more aggressive AD-focused junglers. So Zen and Graves are out. Zen with the meta, with the Scuttle Crabs and all that stuff, very good at skirmishing early, as well as a strong level 2 gank, which sometimes comes into play. So he's kind of taken Jarvan's spot in that way, where a lot of times Jarvan was the level 2 ganker. It's now Zen.
So we see that Mordekaiser being taken away from Lost this game. Aerie will take that.
Oh, yeah.
He did play Mord yesterday as well in their game versus Cloud9 Academy versus Sneaky's brand, if you will.
Yeah. Sneaky does have an interesting brand. I'll give you that.
It is. Divert your eyes. Ezreal here locked in. We're going to actually get somewhat of a composition in the support finalizer of what we may see coming in that Rakan. Looks like FlyQuest Academy, FOXA Academy, I should say, is going to go pretty traditional here.
And that's what's cool. You know, on the one hand, someone's going to be running Mordekaiser plus X. Still need to see what that ends up being. Probably not Braum. You don't actually see those two paired together that much. So this might be a jungle pick that's going to combo with the Mord. That's what I would expect. Shyvana's up. That's one of the most common ones that you see. Both of them have great synergy with the dragons. And Mord does take a little bit of the farm, so it's not like Shyvana's getting 100% of what's mid. Mord often takes it, just has a relic shield start. That's what I would expect to see maybe, and then you have Aurelia going bottom. But now, you know, this is what I'm talking about. Who knows? Looks like Swain mid.
I love it.
With Mordekaiser Braum will actually be the bot lane. Didn't think that's what it would be, but looks like that's what we're getting.
These are super picks. The super flex can be played the entire time, and it is. This becomes so much more strenuous for the coaches as well to figure out what a good matchup is going to be. I know they're still switching.
Yeah, I mean,
20 seconds.
At any point,
17 seconds left on the clock.
Let's talk about Echo Fox.
And at 20 seconds, they have to be in the right order. So we'll figure that out. It looks like Echo Fox is going to be locking in safety. Get Lost farmed. It's Ezreal. It's Lost. That's what he plays if it's not Tristan.
Yep. So Echo Fox's comp, pretty synergistic all around. You have Braum, Rakan and Trundle all being able to provide knockups for the Yasuo. Ezreal's kind of this guy on his own in the backline, pelting away at people safely, while the rest of the team's probably going to be diving with that Yasuo in there. It did look like we ended up with the Aurelia in the jungle, the Swain mid, and the Mordekaiser Braum down there in the bot lane. So it's kind of what they showed initially, with the flexes just coming in to try and confuse everybody.
All right, we'll have to see. They are out onto the Rift. And now for our basically first cast here. Yeah, they played yesterday. We saw what was happening, but bringing the season back in. Summer has started, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. And we're now about to see what Summer has brought.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Now, so what's interesting is we talked about the role swapping a little bit. And some of these teams, even if you see what you suppose are these lane assignments, they can easily change them around. And we'll see if this level 1 works before I continue any further. Oh, saw him. Lost able to drop that ward and get out of there. Doesn't die. They do get the ward kill, though. So what I was going to say with some of these lane swapping things, there's something really interesting in the LCK where they actually 2v1'd the mid lane with Mordekaiser Alistar against an Aurelion Sol. So what I was going to go with this is, even if that Braum looks like it should be bottom with the Mordekaiser, you never actually know, and it could go mid to support the Aurelia. The Mordekaiser can still go mid here, and you can have a different bot lane. Could be Swain Braum. We'll have to see what they actually do, as they all kind of grouped up in the bot jungle, not giving any clarity for me.
Just waiting for the bushwhack. Oh, a little bit of vision there. They see one. They're probably going to figure more is there, since they do have odd orange towards the top side. A little bit of love for red. We're going to get things rolling here for the Summer Split Academy League. It looks like Airy does make his way towards mid. It is going to be the 1v1, Yasuo versus Mord.
Yeah, so Airy is actually usually their bot lane carry here. He will be the one playing the mid lane for the jungle Aurelia. And then the bot lane is actually their mid laner Peckenwolf with JJ.
See how they're going to figure this one out. He does go mid. I love seeing that they keep switching it up. So are they going to push one wave, get, and then move? Is he going to share waves? Do you take one, go to a different? Oh, yes. Get out of there.
Yep, they're going to be going for a Scuttle Crab or a Raptor invade. And this is what this kind of... so I said a little bit, the Mordekaiser one functions a little differently. It's not quite as gold funneled, because they don't care if the Mord grabs some of the CS. But you see Aurelia already at 16. And so they're going to group up, push mid together to get the priority, and then they go and steal more jungle resources.
Feels good.
Mord has that passive that allows him to get... It's actually more complicated than people think. They're just like, oh yeah, he gets the same XP. It's actually 50% of the missing bonus XP he reclaims. So he's actually getting more like 80% or something like that. It's complicated maths, especially when you both start functioning in like the levels and stuff. But either way, more efficient than any other duo combo can be.
Finding aggression on that level 3 for Airy, seeing if he would bite back. It looks like they stay safe for now. There is an exhaust on Airy there, so he's actually quite safe in this mid lane to just kind of shut down Yasui, be safe for himself, keep that kill pressure off.
Yasui on Yasuo. It's been a while since we saw this guy. He was kind of hailed a couple of years ago as the next generation of North American mid laners before getting in a little bit of trouble. I think he got suspended for a little bit before finally coming back now, this time on Echo Fox Academy.
Sometimes your skill gets the best of you, right? You think it should be put before you're being nice to others. But right now, he's back. And now the skill and being nice is quite leveled out. We'll see what he can do. 23 to 15. Not phased at all by this lane. And I guess you should be as a player. You shouldn't be like, oh, things are going to be crazy. I need to change it. Play your game and go about playing Yasuo.
It's definitely kind of thing that, like, at this point, it's no longer a surprise when something crazy happens. It's no, you know, for these guys who have been scrimming on this patch for weeks now, you're not like, oh my God, there's a 2v1 in the mid lane. While it might be crazy for us viewers, I'm sure Yasui has played against it enough times to not get phased by the uniqueness of the lane.
It does have to be annoying, though.
Oh, I'm sure it's
like,
not.
Well, I know this lane's coming in. Got to quickly just get some Steel Tempest out. A little bit of Vision of Empire tag on there. Lost takes some extra damage as Peckenwolf gets himself in. No charges, though. He gets himself back. Safety. Just hang out. JJ and Peckenwolf not doing too bad. Down in CS a little bit, but they're fine. I have to switch it up.
Yeah, you got to look at the mid laner versus the AD carry.
I was like 12 to 30. Uh-oh.
And it's even harder than that because you have to look at Yasui versus Onda, really, and you look at the Ezreal versus the Swain. So you're kind of going diagonal, shifting it up.
Yep.
You know, you got a little ladder connecting those two on your display.
We are going to have an Infernal Drake first. That might get a little bit of love here. We'll have to see how, I think FlyQuest Academy may pull the trigger first on making this composition work. You can't really just rest on your laurels here and be like, hey, we're okay kind of losing lane. You want to push lane, you want to get better than par if you're running this composition.
Yeah, I mean, talking about scaling on this patch is a bit of a nightmare. You never know who's supposed to be better and at which points. But I think it's pretty safe to say that without factoring in the gold funneling necessarily, it should favor Echo Fox's scaling, Yasuo and Ezreal being great, as well as having a pretty strong front line as well. But who knows, because, you know, FlyQuest, even though it's 8K gold, a larger portion of that is put on that Aurelia. So you start to wonder about how even it is, because it's 62 CS versus the next closest at 45 on the enemy team.
It's great. A meta like this, too, it teaches different things. Now, I bet you Anda knows exactly when mid-minions hit all the time. I'd be like, I could do a camp and a half, and then mid-minions will hit. And then I can do one more camp, mid-minions will hit. Learning extra things. Something new every day.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that takes player skill a little less away from being able to execute on well-understood matchups, as we see a face check here.
Huzzah! Airy taking a bit of damage, gets that first shield out. Big damage onto him. Anda doesn't have too much to give back. Airy low, below 100. First blood coming in for Yasui.
Really nice play there, setting up, taking advantage of one of the few times that they have the jungle mid priority to meet up with this jungler. The pillar missed, so they weren't able to get the Yasuo ult quite off of it, but a nice roam by Nintendo.
I love the tag. Yeah. That was so good.
Welcome back to the LCS, or Academy here for Nintendo.
That's what he's doing, right? That's his aim. So that kill, does that kind of engage this dragon now? They say, we're going to fight it. JJ Anda still feels strong. Peckinwolf comes out of lane as he has lost a little bit, curved on the bot side there. It's going to be 700 damage on it. Smite comes through. That easily goes to Fox, but resulting fight. Peckinwolf missing the never move. They're onto JJ, not looking good for him. There's the last breath. Anda has to be turned back here. A lot has been used for Fox, and FlyQuest knows it. They can now start to bite down with their abilities off a cooldown. There's the first one. Adrian tries to get himself to safety, but also deter the fight. Can they flip another one in? No is looking to take down Lost, and it looks like he is stuck up the river without a paddle. There's the chair. JJ says, sit down.
Echo Fox overreaching a little bit from that pickoff in the mid lane. The dragon goes down a little too slowly, and FlyQuest are able to collapse, get a kill, and start working down on this turret. We'll probably be able to grab this one as well.
What a turnaround. We said FlyQuest was going to want to be able to activate these lanes quick, and Echo Fox went right to Dragon and gave him a chance.
And it was a good idea, because whenever you're against a Mordekaiser comp, getting a dragon away from him is good.
Right,
you don't want to see a big dragon come down and start pushing your turrets, but probably a little over-eager with that decision there. And as a result, they give up some kills. What's really interesting here is you see the Aurelia, not quite as practiced, throws her ult right into the Yasuo wind wall there. Hard to know if he thought it was going to time out or what it was. And that actually kind of baited Echo Fox into thinking that they'd be able to take this fight, but the Mordekaiser's back. The Swain, nice little sidestep there to not keep kiting down, actually meets back up with his team, so they're able to get the one kill, and then Noah at level 6, just a speedy poison man.
Flying.
Yeah, gets some extra kills. And after that, it actually is still pretty even in the game.
Yeah.
FlyQuest getting basically that turret gold in their favor.
Possible movement here as well. They need to get out of those lanes, not just let Lost and Adrian farm. See if they can put Peckinwolf somewhere. He'll go back bot. It's going to be the roam for JJ now, as Aries still farming mid. 91 to 75 if you're looking at Yasui to Anda. So Anda is really kind of benefiting here from soaking up all this farm, being the super Aurelia.
And this is what's really, really cool. And there's so much to talk about. It's hard to get it all into one game, but when you have so many interesting lane setups, it's not just about what you do in the first 5-10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
It's what happens after. Like, can the Aurelia now really start splitting against the Yasuo? Can it destroy the Ornn? These are the kinds of things. Like, where does the Singe go? Where does the Swain go?
That's the transition, right? Do you know that timing? A lot of seasons we would see teams know a mid game and don't transition into the mid game in regular pace. Now everything's mixed up. Good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's very interesting to see how teams play against it. And this is what I was kind of getting into, and I was saying it's less about being able to execute well-known matchups and I win at these breakpoints and this and that. It's a lot more about creative thinking and how you can adapt to a situation, because you're playing matchups you're not used to. You're playing lane assignments you're not used to, at different break points you're not used to.
That's a big point. You're not expecting that Yasui to come down there and blast breath your entire team right away. Obviously, level 6 is there, but what item does he have? What item does Anda have from being supered right now? And that kind of break point as you're talking about is that, oops, I was surprised by that moment. My bad. He flashed on me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how many Swains are used to getting the different XP from being bot lane? You know, they're so used to being mid laners, top, or whatever. So you now have to deal with the fact that you are a little more under-leveled, but hey, you have a giant Aurelia now pushing mid lane.
A lot of mobility now that first turret's down for this team. They have the chance to go lane to lane, and FlyQuest Academy is trying to add more pressure wherever they can. Odd Orange called to the mid lane to help that out. He's not doing too shabby for himself right now. Hopefully he can absorb something from JJ or No in these next fights. That lane, 93 to 74. No actually really big getting a benefit from going down bot lane for that last fight.
Yeah, definitely been ignoring the top side a little bit with how much interesting stuff was going on in the mid, bot, and jungle. But No, as well as having that nice TP down to that bot lane fight, has definitely kind of put himself as the biggest threat on this map, because he's going to hit you know, his Rylai's pretty soon here, most likely, and then he's going to be charging down on the side of Echo Fox, and I don't know if they're ready for that big of a singe.
So what is next? As we see kind of, you know, Anda is big, Tiamat finished up, kind of looking to rush that a bit. Is this the chance for him to go to the side lane, or is there still too much action? Stuff needs to be broken between No and Nintendo before they can really break that open.
I think you'll mostly be looking to keep him more in the mid lane. I think especially because you need to keep him next to Mord, and Mord's not very fast, so you want to keep him closer to the jungle camp.
Those big old feet.
Yeah, it's tough for the Metal Man to get around the map, so you'll most likely see Anda mid more.
Flawless duet. He might have gotten himself into a situation he didn't want. Anda throws it out, tries to disarm the entire Fox Academy team, and the teleports come through. Yasui almost goes down as Peckinwolf absolutely explodes with almost enough ultimate damage to take him down. More pressure to the mid lane. It looks like they may stay for the full turret.
Yeah, even though they weren't able to find that kill, Yasui just barely staying alive. They have the pressure after the fight to continue pushing. Did not take that turret quite yet. Wonder if they could have looked somewhere else. Maybe Rift Herald would have been a better objective to try out. Because one of the things that happened in the patch as well, Shelly got that buff, do 1,500 damage minimum, so we're used to seeing those kind of 200 damage charges on turret. Those are gone now. She continues to heavily chunk turrets with her charges.
It's absolutely crazy, and something we really didn't mention in the beginning, we said, you know, things have changed, 8-1-1, it's great, but games are incredibly fast right now when you get a lead. It is very hard to stop a team once they get on the tracks and start rolling.
And I think that's one of the bigger reasons you've seen Marksman pushed out of the bot lane a little bit. You need to spike on 1 to 2 items. Nezreal is that champion, right? You know, you get the Triforce, you get the Muramana, you're basically 100% good to go. Kai'Sa much the same way, Ezreal the same way, or excuse me, Lucian the same way. All of them, you know, kind of spiking on their Ginsus, Bork, Triforce, these kinds of things. And because the game ends so fast, you don't get to that third item. Whereas, you know, if the game slowed down, I'm sure you would see much more Marksman coming back into the meta. But until then, hey, Swain, get him his Roa, he's pretty much good to go.
See what this ward provides here for FlyQuest Academy. Enough vision at least for them to know No can come down from the top lane. Mid finally goes down, only took 3 times. Third time is a charm here for FlyQuest and their pressure. And now a Mountain Drake is up. They'll be able to put vision all throughout the spot side of the jungle as they start to control the map even more. And here goes Proxy No. Starts dipping down behind Nintendo on the top side to be a nuisance. Yeah,
he's at that Rylai's power spike that we're saying that Singe wants. He has it now. It's going to be very hard for him to fight for this dragon. That's kind of why you see Echo Fox deciding to not even bother looking to do that. He's kind of going to give this one up.
Interesting as well for FlyQuest coming through. Anda, somewhat of an aggressive jungler, but we remember him kind of being a tankier jungler, being more supportive, and now we're like, hey Anda, how about you be the carry and we'll protect you and give you all this farm. It's interesting to see the players as well change throughout these dynamics.
I think it's also a skill set of his that even though he was mostly known for the Zac and the Jax playing more of a farming oriented style, everyone who has played with Anda will talk about how smart he is and how much of a student of the game he is, just constantly watching VODs and like looking up numbers and things like that. And this is the perfect meta for a player like that. Like, you're talking about these timings about how long can I be away from mid wave before I need to come back.
Yeah, that's true.
The smarter the player, the better for that, because even though you might not have thought of him as, oh, he's a super hard carry jungler, well, he's smart and he knows where to be on the map at the right time. And that's something that this meta will favor him for with all the gold funneling.
It's crazy. We must enjoy the multitasking. Give him more. He wants to handle more. Nashor's Tooth finished up for him as he continues to build. Looks like there's a phage in his pocket, ready to come up there. A few other items. Banner is finished up for Nintendo, so they give themselves a little outside pressure here on the map that might have to be respected. But now, Fly actually has 2 people to start responding to this stuff with. They only send Peckenwolf, though, as the roam was there from Ari and him.
Yeah, probably happy to get a little bit of solo XP finally. No Braum on his coat.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. And the Aurelia gets Tiamat to help you clear the jungle faster with the smaller creeps before transitioning to your typical first item.
The quickness! Then he is right in there. Wow, they activated that early, and it was basically one of those, what is he doing out here? And they take down Ari.
Yeah, a little lax for the bot laner playing in the mid lane, not quite used to the positioning there and gets taken
Great
down.
call. It's a great call. Can happen over and over again if you're not thinking of those things that come in second nature from your regular lane. 15 minutes on the clock. This was pressured by FOXA Academy, and they are able to secure the Rift Herald after all.
Huge pickoff, all things considered. While it might only seem like a single kill, denying the Rift Herald, one of the biggest snowball mechanics in the game right now with how little wave clear there is. The fact that you keep that off the team in the lead and maybe you can use it to grab a turret yourself will be huge for keeping FOXA in this game and allowing their Ezreal and Yasuo to get to their 2-item power spikes.
See what we have. Still quite recipeed on the side of Lost as he builds up his tiers. And we'll see this one more time. They just said, yeah, even if somebody was there to fight, it seems, they would have been able to take it and be out.
Yeah, just got his flash up, didn't know he was under that much pressure. No wards up in that top river to see the Rakan wrapping around, as well as just how good Yasuo is for getting on top of people. Gets that chain CC, doesn't have any opportunity to get out.
Hit him once. Yeah, he's got Odoran, he's got Adrian. Both of those can proc his last breath. Now they start to focus on the top side and say, hey, I think that FlyQuest Academy is going to want this last turret. It's at half health, and they're starting to ward down behind our blue side. It looks like the rest of the team starts to encroach a little bit from mid now that it's gone, and this becomes harder for FOXA. They don't have much defense in this area.
Yeah, and I think while maybe the champions are very surprising, the strategy that they're employing here is very much the same that you're used to seeing. Bot lane got the bot turret, they grab the mid turret, rotate up to the last standing outer turret, and use your mid jungle priority to rotate up onto that side of the map, get vision down, and try and set up a potential dive if they're still protecting that turret. So you see Ari and Onda working together like you would see in any meta.
Yeah.
It's really not that different of a fundamental strategy, though. The amount of times that it's Mordekaiser Aurelia has been 0 until now.
Sometimes you got to go back to basics. Go where the money is. Right now the money's towards the top side. That last turret lost over the wall. Vision. Oh, it did tag him. So they have vision, but nice job by Adrian to say, slow your roll. You are not going to take my AD carry out. And they start to back up. Yeah, focus to mid now. Shelly's down, and mid may follow. FlyQuest is going to try to flex the muscles here and push right through mid and get FOXA out of here. Looks like they got it. Turret should be low and prepped for a nice takedown soon.
Pretty creative way to relieve pressure up on the top side. You saw their bot lane kind of get forced out with the wraparound that was coming in, and so FOXA, instead of trying to protect their top turret with numbers, they actually just put more pressure in the mid lane, forced FlyQuest to back out. Unfortunately, Peckenwolf did not go down as well, so he's still able to finish that turret off. And FOXA weren't able to grab that mid one. It was a good attempt to try and trade the objectives out, but did not end up paying off.
Absolutely. You're kind of hoping the other team bites a little bit harder. You don't get that push from Peckenwolf as fast towards the turret, but no turret for a top. Mid's very close to going down. I believe Banner was just used and taken down by No. So he's looking to work that pressure slow on the bot side. And good vision here from FlyQuest Academy should slow FOXA down on that top side of the map.
Absolutely, and now with all those outers down and Shelly not being on their side, you have to look at this Infernal Drake coming up in a minute and expect FOXA to want to fight this one. They already have one for themselves, luckily. And Ezreal did get that transformation on his Muramana, so he is pretty close to ready to go. And interestingly, in not going for the Triforce build, going for the blue build focused on the Ezreal, and you see just the amount of gold that Aurelia gets, you know, all the way up to 8,200. About 1,500 more than anyone on the side of FOXA.
Absolutely crazy. But you can't get overzealous with that gold. You can't feel like you can take everybody out, and it seems like they're playing it smart. Onda to the side lane. We question when would that split push happen, and when can Yasui actually answer as well. BS work for him at 1-0-1 can definitely put out a good fight. But as of now, they stand together as a group in mid. It looks like Onda may start to trail over, get some wards in, and keep that focus on bot going.
Yeah, there's no turret to protect
he
Echo
pinged in.
Fox, so they're kind of wrap around behind him here.
Oh, throws out the ultimate. Disarm, very nicely done to Adrian. Can't get any auto attacks, and not that it really matters, but they take him down, and it matters for Airy to get himself back into this game and a little bit bigger on that Mord. A nice pinch in by FlyQuest Academy.
Yeah, you saw that pincer. You have that disarm get thrown out. They're not done yet, though. They're still trying to wrap around behind Echo Fox.
Oh, hello. Misses the flawless duets. The crowd control's gone there. One tag. Winter's Bite, conclusive blows. Nice stop there as they try to get themselves into the hit, or into the kill, I should say. It looks like they'll back off out of this one. Odd Orange finally getting there. Everybody from Fox Academy was kind of considering that they'd fight, but not respecting it enough. And Fox is saying, yeah, we're going to fight the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice attempt by Nintendo to protect Usui. He had a nice E onto the turret to knock everyone up, but there's too much damage there. Now the Yasuo Ghost gets traded out for the Dragon Ghost. You can only have one Ghost as Mordekaiser, and if you have auto-attacked the Dragon in the last 10 seconds, when it dies, it will become your Ghost, regardless of if you have another one. And so I guess, either intentionally or not, Airy has decided he'd rather have a big undead dragon than an undead samurai thing.
That's true. It is true. It helps me by not seeing Fox Usui run around in red on Fly Academy.
It was very nice of him.
Wait a minute.
Made it much easier for Riv to cast.
So the Dragon does go over to FlyQuest Academy, and we were talking about that before. The fact that they can get that with Mord is just so gigantic. He's gonna hang out. What are you doing, Dragon?
It's always it's always funny because, you know, usually a Dragon will be taken after a fight. That's a little bit of trading down here on the bot side. Usually dragons get taken after a fight, so the dragon doesn't really have much to do once it gets taken. It's just like, well, float around the rift awkwardly until I time out or get killed. No purpose. Everyone else is going back in base and resetting, and I'm just out here. I don't have anything to buy at the shop. Just hanging out.
All right, Mark. So looking at being behind against the composition like this, where you actually need to scale. Yeah, time is going to be something you need, but what is a way in? How can you stop what's happening right now if they're just going to keep throwing this swamp comp at you?
It's really hard because in the current meta, we were talking about, you know, the games don't go late enough for 80 carries to scale up and things like that. And one of the reasons is control mages are basically out of the mid lane. Those were always the champions who would be that really annoying line wave clear, the Victors, the Orianas, the Azirs, and you just felt like you couldn't get a push against them. Those things aren't played right now, so you can push. Even if you are this kind of 5 melee composite, or 4 melee plus a Swain, you can actually still, you know, take turrets down pretty effectively, and it stops a team's ability to usually stall out because you can't clear the waves, and then as well as the fact that usually you don't have as much utility. So if you look at the side of FlyQuest Academy, if they were behind, they don't have very much utility. Echo Fox actually do have some. You have the Ornn for disengage, the Trundle for disengage. So they might have a better job here stalling out. We mentioned the 2-item power spikes. You see Yasuo's not quite there yet. So you want to push your waves up and then back off. And if you need to use your Ornn ultimate to achieve that, that's what you're going to do. You have more utility than is common in the current meta.
Oh, hello.
Doesn't want to bump into him.
Nope. Don't want any extended fights right now at the side of FlyQuest Academy. And things have calmed down for a quick moment here. 4-2, 23 minutes on the clock. And it looks like it's been resource grabbing right now for Fox Academy, just figuring out where they may have an in and where they can clear out wards to make sure their jungle is actually their own vision. One fight here, and FlyQuest Academy is going to be inside the base.
Oh yeah, that's the thing too. Once these fights happen, because everyone's so low range, it's very hard to disengage when there's 10 people stacked up on top of each other. Usually you're disengaging 1 or 2 off your back line. Here it's, like you kind of said, a whole swamp dog pile of people.
You just get lost in there. Can't get out.
Literally. Lost is in there.
Yeah, he absolutely is. So what are the summoner spells up for our next fight? There are kill pressure summoners, especially on the side of Echo Fox. They have the defensive exhaust still running for Airy with JJ's Ignite. But a lot of the flashes are down on both sides. That may be tempering a bit of the fight expectations here as we start things off around the 25-minute mark. The last breath.
Oh, he's taking it.
Gonna take it. Odd Orange gets the pillar in, but he says, yeah, I'll take this fight. Sui says, I don't want it anymore. 3v1 situation. JJ just behind a 4v1 situation. Teleport coming in now. No gets popped up, knocked up, and there is the entrance, but he will also make that his exit as Peckinwolf takes the fight in mid and continues it on his own terms.
Really strange play there out of Echo Fox. You see we just kind of forcing some stuff in the mid lane and was able to disengage it. We saw Adrian pop his ult, could have sat on top of the Cinch so that once that ult completed, he's already getting charmed, and then, or the TP, excuse me, and then you could use your W to knock him up. Instead, he went over to Lost on the side, his ult timed out, then he W'd in, and as a result, Adrian's going to go down. No wards on the map at all with that support dead. And you see FlyQuest not sure what's going on. Checks the Baron, not getting done. It was being baited by FlyQuest, still getting baited. Now they're going to turn on.
Ooh. So this is good too because they have No in the mid lane, kind of a little bit of distraction, a little bit of push. He'll have to deal with 3 members, so they'll have to get through him, I should say.
Here comes Odd Orange.
Odd Orange could make it work though. If he can stop it for just long enough. Adrian in, the 2 defensive members trying to make it happen. Call the Forge God goes out. Not seeing that coming back as well, and we will see Odd Orange going down. Baron does get solidified by FlyQuest Academy. Yasuo very low, and you just see No trying to spread the poison across the team. He didn't even want to fling or attack. He just wants to get in front, because that means that's the kill. Adrian and Lost chasing down towards the bot side now. Yasui, very low HP, just about the same as Adrian at this point, and it does not look like they are actually going the right way on this exit mark. A few more will be going down in the end here, and Baron going to be used by FlyQuest in the end.
It looked like they were going to get a lot of...
I thought Lost was going back in for a second for some autos, but there's so much tank in front of those low health members.
Yeah, Ari and JJ are low, but it's definitely a bit of a bait to go turn around and try and take that. Anda, the most important member, is still full HP, would have been able to hop onto that Ezreal, so they disengage. They end up losing 2 over the course of that long sequence, and just not quite able to find any kills.
The baits on those were even bigger too. Before we get the replay, you see the 3 stopwatches there for FlyQuest, which is just showing how far they are ahead, that they could have baited these fights out that much more, even with the victory.
And so the biggest problem for them in this fight, like you said, that Ornn ult gonna get blocked out by JJ here. No is just kind of running interference, and then boom, Ornn ult blocked, no way in. You saw how low Ari and some of these other members were. Almost get the flash in for Odd Orange, mistimes that, and now the fight's kind of all over the place. No is continuing to run around and be a menace. You don't have this Ornn ult anymore, and though they are able to kind of kite it out, there's just no one to really set up the Ezreal or the Yasuo to finish off those low health members on the side of FlyQuest.
Over to the Dargon. Drake now for Ari. This is huge for these guys as well. What a game of power Drakes. Holy moly, 2 mountains and now an Inferno in the hands of FlyQuest Academy.
The Dragon doesn't get Baron. It's kind of sad.
Oh, that would be great. If he's just that much bigger.
Yeah, can apply the buff.
Be like Sterric Gage-sized Dragon.
And this is where we're talking about the fact that with the lack of line wave clear available that usually came in from the mid wave, these sieges become very effective. Baron itself, pretty effective. You add in a Dragon, you can probably expect FlyQuest to be able to take an inhib, and if Echo Fox gets dove, that might be the game.
I think you should be able to banner the Dragon.
Damage reduction on that thing?
Just take out a turret in 1 shot.
How many more bad strategies can we come up with Dragon?
Make them all. He'll be able to fire a breath all the way down 1 lane, destroying all minions to the Nexus.
You should be able to apply Ardent Sensor to him too.
Yep, absolutely. Shield him. He's in the front. Why not? He's your tank.
You can't heal him.
It's like a White Mage Summoner combo. You can also heal. 30 minutes, Dragon down. 7-2 here, and FlyQuest Academy feeling very good about the positioning. They move forward with confidence, placing the wards. They know they can win a fight in as well, because they're just getting Adrian to sweep everything so soon. He can't cover all the vision.
Yeah, and Lost has to be really careful here. If they get a pull back on him with the Swain E or Aurelia E, he's going to get popped instantly.
Nose going in, a lot of pressure there. Horn God comes out, and 10 dude shuffles to the right to give it a left dodge there. And it looks like they are going to be able to take down the turret. You're going to flip! Yasui possibly gets chucked back into the fight, and it's going to be a dog pile onto him. Turret goes down. Yasui falls next. 29 minutes on the clock, and FlyQuest Academy is inside the base of Echo Fox. Yasui going down to the turret, but it's just the ghost. They don't need him. They are still running strong. It looks like they're going to head outside the base and say, we took a bit, but we can take more. Let's not overextend ourselves. We'll do it the easy way.
Looks like they're going to have to back off this one.
Yeah.
Baron buff did time out, so they're not going to have anything to help them push this. And there you see just a really nice counter engage by JJ. He's actually playing super well this game. We talked about in the Baron fight, stopping that Ornn engage. This time didn't stop the Ornn engage, but Adrian had a bit of a telegraphed Rakan engage. So as soon as he saw that ult come out, you're going to see Airy drop his Braum ult and knock him up. Watch there. Stopped from going in. That denies the engage, so there's no combo between the Braum and the Ornn and the Rakan. And then No, with all that CC down, is safe to just kind of charge into the backline. No one can lock him down. He flips Yusui in. That gives the go 6v4. Yusui betraying his team. Luckily, they're all able to get out after that, so they only lose the inhib, but they have fallen very far behind in this game. Over 10K behind.
FlyQuest Academy looking to go strong today. Cloud9 Academy taking the victory over FlyQuest yesterday. So FlyQuest saying, shake that off. We got to come out strong. We made these changes for a reason. Keen and Shrimp out, Peckenwolf and Onda in. It seems to be clicking a little bit more this game.
It's also hard to say, you know, given that you're against Jensen, Sneaky, and Smoothie.
That's true.
Many of those guys in contention for the best in the roles in the LCS. You know, I don't think a loss to them is anything to hang your head about.
When you lose to the guys that might just win, it's all right.
We talked about the world's experience of, you know, C9 Academy. It's pretty impressive. So very nice bounce back game here for FlyQuest Academy, but still kind of sticking to their guns. I believe they ran Mord in that game as well. And Mord's a champion that in the meta has picked up a lot more losses than wins. And people are kind of struggling to get him used here. But, you know, FlyQuest just sticking whoever's their best Mordekaiser in the mid lane, not trying to make Peckenwolf learn Mordekaiser, just like, hey, Ari, you already know him, you go mid.
I wonder if that changes from week to week too. Maybe they have two that are really at that level and they're like, I'm feeling good on Mord this week. It's yours, bro. Quickness goes in. FlyQuest are taking the fight easily here. Echo Fox going for broke, and they are going to lose just about every member. Nintendude stands because he has more HP. But that is not the case in the end. Airy coming up with a few more kills. FlyQuest Academy making quick work of the base, the Rift, and this matchup as they take down Echo Fox. The Nexus in their eyes now with this last Nexus turret going down. And across the map, not a turret drop for Echo Fox Academy as FlyQuest takes the victory.
Really, really impressive performance out of FlyQuest Academy, not only showcasing you know, their skill, but also a good understanding of the meta, the players showing that we have the Mordekaiser, we have the Bruisers in the bot lane, we got the Aurelia in the jungle, all this crazy stuff in their draft, but it all executed and worked pretty well together.
And I think there is something to be said about having these lanes swap back and forth, because yeah, you may not have to worry as much as Yusui being the Yasuo, but those guys are also making moves, getting more wards out, having a chance to do X, this or that, getting more knowledge on the map, and all those little things just play into their favor.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of snowball effects. I mean, we're in a snowball meta, hands down. So you talk about a team that has some pushing lanes, some better understanding of where they want to be on the map, how to use the jungle. You get a big dragon on your side. You know, they can suddenly very quickly take control of this game.
So let's take a look at the final fight that went into this matchup. Actually, two good ones at the end there coming out of FlyQuest Academy to make it happen. And here, Echo Fox had to pull the trigger. They said, not on our front doorstep.
Yeah, we talk about the fact that it's very hard to wave clear with the champions. Yusui goes in on the Yasuo, but the Aurelia disarm came out, so even though he got the two-man last breath, could not actually really continue to throw the DPS in, tried to get out, couldn't do it. At this point, No had kind of charged through, was on top of Lost on the Ezreal, and not really enough peel, and so you see that steady gold graph that kind of got exploded with that one Baron fight.
Fox, that's right. So Echo Fox now 0-2. FlyQuest 1-1 as they move up.
Super Aurelia only doing 7.9k damage. Not the most impressive thing.
That's a good point.
Mordekaiser did more, technically.
So do you think it was underused? Do you think in running that composition they ran it incorrectly but still got the victory?
No, I think...
Big question.
No, I think what they did was fine. It's just one of those things where Aurelia is basically a bruiser / assassin. You don't have many AoE tools to rack up the damage, and so she's going to charge in there, kill the Ezreal, who only has 1,400 HP, and then kind of run around the rest of the fight. Whereas Mordekaiser has his W, has his E, has his Ghost. He can rack up more damage, less concentrated.
So what is the kind of, we don't have the answer, but what is your best guess in the beginning of a game? Say you were playing the Ezreal, the Rakan lane. Do you call for your jungler to come gank that, or is that lane crazy? Do you just go try to kill Mord a bunch of times? I guess that's what they tried to do, but he played safe. Like, how do you as a regular playing team thwart that?
It's gonna take some time. And I hope that's why I hope the meta doesn't actually get changed game balance wise too much, because I don't think anyone knows what's happening, right? Like no one knows 100% what they should be doing. And so it's going to be hard to know what is the optimal strategy and how to play against it. Whenever you see these hard farming funnel with the super champion in the jungle, the thing that shuts it down the most is a pushing mid laner and aggressive jungler. So you can get in there and try and kill him on his camps and do things like that. And the Yasuo just doesn't have the ability to really push that effectively.
Yep.
And so the times that I've seen the double jungle kind of strategy get destroyed, it's usually off the back of a losing mid matchup, and if you're losing priority in one of your other side lanes. But they didn't have too little priority in their side lanes, so the Aurelia and the Mordekaiser could just run around the map and get tons of CS. I think he had like 220 CS at 18 minutes.
It gets a little ridiculous as well when you're kind of forced into Drake, something you've kind of been like, yeah, we can leave those to the wayside. No,
Yeah.
now they get a Drake as well with their Drake on top of a Drake. So we
Two
have
for one.
Two for one. So to hear more about that victory now, I'd like to welcome Peckenwolf to the broadcast via Skype. Welcome, sir. Congratulations on the win, and great Swain.
Oh, thank you.
So coming into this meta, man, I have to ask, probably going to ask everybody we interview today, what are your thoughts about what's going on?
So far, I mean, it's been pretty interesting. A lot of teams, you know, kind of, some teams actually swap around to like roster and like put like bot lane mid, just like how you saw. And it depends on basically champion pool and what you're comfortable with, but you can see so many variants of different things, and just, it's basically just so many different things that you can choose. Like, I can't even say myself, like, there's so many different champions that you can choose.
Are you excited about this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of exciting. Like, draft is really important, and sometimes it gets really confusing. Like, I'm sure that the casters were like wondering what was gonna go where, especially
Oh, yeah.
inside our
For
draft.
the entire
like, with
first phase
Irelia,
besides
too.
Trundle, yeah.
And then you guys start flexing
Yeah,
them
it must have been
around.
pretty confusing. Yeah. So, I mean, it can be pretty confusing in draft with so many flex picks and stuff like that. But I mean, we've seen inside other regions, sometimes just standard can beat it too. So, don't know how long this will last, but it's pretty fun.
So it's glad to hear you think it's fun. I know a lot of people have been very opinionated about it. How does like Airy and JJ feel? Because now you were bot lane, Airy was mid lane. Like, are people enjoying the meta? I know no one knows what's happening, but is it at least enjoyable for your entire team, or is it just you enjoying it?
I wouldn't say that maybe Airy is enjoying it, but maybe everybody else is.
That's hilarious. Hopefully it kind of becomes more fun for him as things go on. I have to ask though, to that kind of note, how is the team doing? How are things starting off for the year? 1-1 now, getting things rolling. What's the general kind of feel in the house?
I'm pretty happy with the way that we're playing right now. We have a lot of things that we can improve on, but so far it seems that every single time that we lose, I think we're gaining a lot of information and we're not confused about, wow, why did we lose here? So I think we have a ton of potential to improve over the next split, especially like yesterday, even though we lost versus the C9, we could have definitely won it. And I feel like we actually played bad rather than them playing good. So I think we have tons of potentials to win.
Awesome. Interesting to hear. Well, thank you very much, Peckenwolf. Congratulations again, and best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So we are headed for a break now, but when we come back, Counterlogic Gaming Academy takes on Cloud9. You're watching the NA Academy League. Airy taking a bit of damage, gets that first shield out, big damage onto him. Hounda doesn't have too much to give back. Airy low, below 100. First blood coming in for Yasui. Can they flip another one in? No is looking to take down Lost, and it looks like he is stuck up the river without a paddle. There's the chair. JJ says, sit down. Misses the flawless duets. The crowd control's gone there. One tag. Winter's bike, conclusive blows. Nice stop there. No gets popped up, knocked up, and there is the entrance, but he will also make that his exit. Quickness goes in. FlyQuest are taking the fight easily here. Echo Fox going for broke, and they are going to lose just about every member. Nintendude stands because he has more HP. But that is not the case in the end. Airy coming up with a few more kills. FlyQuest Academy making quick work of the base, the rift, and this matchup.